anytime that you're advertising on the internet, social media, particularly on social media, this can also hold true for things like YouTube pre-roll. But anytime I'm advertising in most places on the internet, my creative mentality is content over commercials. Okay, so we want to produce content, not run a commercial. A commercial is your basic ad. It's the ad that you typically think of. It is typically asking someone to do something, and it is inherently selfish towards the brand, right? Even if you're offering someone something that's going to help them solve a problem, inherently your ask is selfish. It's to your own ends, and people are not as motivated to do that. Even if it's a branding ad, it's typically a branding ad that gives nothing of value in return to the person consuming it. When I'm running ads on social on the internet, I am thinking about content, but using ad dollars and advertising mechanisms to distribute that content. And that is things that give people value, things that people actually want to consume. They're on the platform to consume good content. They're on the platform to enjoy themselves, typically by being educated, learning something new, or by being entertained, watching something funny or interesting or whatever. So I want to produce creative that is one of those two things. And the reasons I do this are, first, content is more likely to be actually consumed and understood by my audience, and it's going to happen at a much higher rate, which means I'm going to get more for my money that I invest by doing this. Because when you're advertising on the internet, particularly on social media, people almost have to give their permission to be advertised to. Okay? So they have to stop scrolling. They have to not mash that skip now button on the ad. They have to choose to consume. They have to opt in, which means that I have to give them a piece of content that they actually want to consume. They're not forced to consume it. They're not a captive audience at this point. So it's more likely to be consumed. Other ads will give you impression numbers, how many people had the opportunity to see their ad. I don't care about those numbers. I care about consumption, because only people who have actually consumed my ad are even going to know what the message was, let alone comprehend the message and have it actually change their beliefs. So the first threshold I'm looking for is consumption. And so by creating content, not commercials, I am shooting for consumption. Second, by creating content and not commercials, we are building our brand by showing, not telling. What do I mean by that? Good storytellers, good novelists know that bad, lazy writers tell you the story. They tell you what's happening, but good writers show you. And it's better for us and our brand to show people, to put our pillars, our identity on display and let them experience that identity rather than just tell them about it. Rather than saying we're so great, tell a story that then helps people to see the greatness. And because that is more effective, one, just because it's more compelling, but two, all you did was tell the story. And if you tell it the right way, people believe that truth more than if you told them it, because they feel that they got there on their own. Okay? Third, this is pretty simple, but it creates reciprocity and goodwill, that you're being generous time and time and time again through your advertising by giving content that, yes, builds their brand, but is also entertaining and engaging the audience throughout the way. Fifth, when it is time, you do need to ask. There does come a time where you ask for something, where you do have to make a sale, where you do have to actually get your customer to respond to something. That's the point of this game, right? So by over time being generous, giving, when it's time, then you can ask. And you ask the same people through retargeting and other methods who have been consuming your content already. Okay? So it's give, ask. And so by creating a brand advertising strategy built on content, when it is time for a commercial, when it is time to ask, your audience is ready to go. So what does this look like? There are two examples that I can think of. For example, later on in the most recent campaign that we did in our office, with everything happening with the virus and everything being shut down, it wasn't necessarily the best time to do traditional advertising. So we wanted to use this as a way to just distribute content based around how the university was positively impacting our community and people around us and our state through our work within the space of the virus. So we started taking down our traditional ads and started running content linking to stories that people around the university have written about the activities happening here at the university. And those ads went crazy. So first off, our original cost per click on our earlier ads was in the mid 60 cents, 63, 64, 65 cents per click. Once we moved to a content-based advertising strategy, we went to 18 cents per click. That cost just plummeted after that. The second thing is, because of how the algorithms work, particularly on social media, they want to send ads people are enjoying to more people, which means that when we were doing really, really well with these low cost per click ads, they also wanted to show them to more people, even though we were paying the same amount of money. So by using a content, not a commercial strategy, we were able to maximize our budget, because although we were paying the same amount of money that we were before, we were reaching about 33% more people. Our reach went about from 600,000 a month to 900,000 a month, and a lot more people were consuming our content because our cost per click had gone from that mid 60 cents down to that 18 cents cost per click, meaning that more people were actually consuming the information about our brand than they were beforehand. The second thing, and the last example that I have, is let's say you're running YouTube pre-roll ads. YouTube pre-roll ads, if you're unfamiliar, they run before you watch a video on YouTube. And for most of them, they're 30 seconds long, and you can skip after 5 seconds. Some people look at that and they think to themselves, oh no, this ad must not be very good because people can skip it after 5 seconds. I better get it in there. I reverse engineer that, and I think, what can I make that is good enough that people will actually keep watching after that 5 seconds? Like, I want to own the challenge of being talented and skilled enough to get people to watch past that 5 second mark, rather than throwing my hands in the air and say, oh, it's too hard, I can't do it. That's a quitter's mentality. So when I'm advertising on YouTube pre-roll, if I had my druthers, I would have a lot of pieces of creative that make sense to my target audience. So for example, let's just zoom it in. You work in the College of Aces and you guys are trying to get more people to apply to the food and nutrition program, right? So you set your target audience to the appropriate demographics and ages and all of that stuff. Then you can also target each piece of creative to specific kinds of content, meaning that if you have someone with all the ages and demographics going to watch a weightlifting video, they're trying to get their great form on their deadlift or something, then you can shoot a piece of creative where maybe you're interviewing a food and nutrition professor about protein muscle synthesis and what's happening behind the scenes in your body when you lift weights, and that your body synthesizes protein to rebuild the muscles and build them bigger and stronger the next time. And so that's content that the audience, because of the video they're watching, because you can target based off the content of the video they're watching, as well as the demographics that they're probably interested in, and they're probably in your target demographic. So then they're more likely to watch the entire video and learn more about you and your brand. 2, they are going to have some form of goodwill or reciprocity for you for giving them helpful information. And 3, if they are within that demographic of maybe someone who might be interested in coming to your school, what they know right now to joining this program, what they know right now is 1, this university has something that I'm interested in, right? They have a program where if I am interested in lifting weights, and then nutrition is a good partner to that knowledge, that I've got a place to go. These guys seem like experts, and they're right here in my home state. So creating content, not commercials, 1, it helps you to gather audiences of people who are interested in your product, but it also gives you more opportunities to reach more people in a much more impactful way. So when you are spending money on the internet, really think about how you can use content to drive your branded message forward, and then retarget the people who consume that content with messages like, hey, it seems like you liked that. You should fill out this form so that way we can send you some informational stuff. Or if you're really interested in this topic, come for a visit day, and and you can see more about what you can learn about this here. So these types of opportunities helped you to identify your audience, to nurture your audience. And then when it's time, ask them to actually take action.